So in order to create microservice, what I've done is I've created 3 different projects, and I'm going to create 3 different components. Namely, let me show you. We have customers, then we have products, then we have orders, and finally, to search all these customers, products, and orders, we have one more microservice called search. So I'm segregating all these microservices as a separate projects, and you can see I've created a new blank solution, and inside the blank solution I have 4 different projects, one for each of them. I'm going to treat these as a separate entity or autonomous services. So now I'm going to add dependencies. So I'm going to right click on this dependencies for one of the service. Let's say we'll start with the products first. All right, so we're going to add NuGet packages. I'm going to add 3 dependencies. Now let me choose EF core. All right, so this is one dependency. I'm going to install this. All right, so now this is installed. I'm going to install there's something called in memory. Yep, this one. So EF core.in-memory. So this is just because we don't want it to add a relational database for now. We're gonna add in-memory database. All right, so I'm gonna say install. All right, so now we're gonna add one more dependency called automapper. So this is the one we want for dependency injection. So we're gonna add this. All right, so now we're gonna add database for each of them. So for that, we're gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna say add folder. So this is for DB objects. I'm gonna say DB, and inside this we're gonna add our model classes, right? So I'm gonna say add new class. Let's rename this to products, or I'll say product. All right, so now we're gonna add properties to this product class. ID is my first property. We'll add a couple of properties more. I'm gonna say string name. Say cost. And then one more property. All right, so I don't think so we need much properties, so we'll stick on to this. This is the one model class we have for this product service. Now we're gonna add DB context. So we're gonna add class, say product DB context. All right, so now this is going to be inherited from from DB context. All right, so now we're gonna add constructor to that. And then we're gonna add a property. Sorry. now I'm going to say db set of products. Right, so this is my property, and now we're going to register this db context in our startup.cs. Let me add an interface. This is the one. I'm going to say I product. All right, so now here we're gonna add a class. I'm sorry, add a method called get product sync. Now this should have a return type, so I'm gonna say it should be task of, I'm gonna say bool comma enumerable of products. Wait, product. I'm gonna add a reference to this. Yes, this is the method. And now we're gonna implement this interface, right? So I'm gonna say I'm gonna add a new class. So I'm gonna say product repository. So here I'm gonna implement this interface, iProduct. All right. So now let's implement this interface. And before this implementation, we're gonna add some dependencies. We're gonna inject some dependencies. All right. So now I'm gonna create a function called seed data, and this will all right, so first and foremost we'll change this to product db context. All right, so this is the one we had built, right? Product db context. So I'm going to add a reference to this. All right, so now we're going to add data to our products, so making use of this function seed data. So here we have db context that dot products dot any. Right, so we're gonna check whether there are products items in this context. If there are no content in this products, we're gonna add something. So we're gonna say db context dot products dot add. So now we have, 3 products. All right, so now we're gonna call this function. All right, so here it should be product context, product DB context. So now this should work. Now here I'm gonna say see data in the constructor. All right. So we have few more problems. So now the next step is to implement the logic over here, right? So in order to map between DB context classes and our model classes and then the in-memory database columns, so we're gonna create a mapping between these. So in order to do that, we're going to create a new class. So now let me add a new class to that, or let me add a new folder first, and then I'm gonna say profiles. So add a new class to that. So I'm gonna say product profiles. All right, so now this is going to be inherited from automapper dot profiles. All right, so now here let's create a constructor. In the constructor I'm gonna say create map. So now we have created a mapping between db.product and models.product, right? So now in the startup class, we're gonna make some small changes. We're gonna add services dot add scoped, and we're gonna include the interface i product and product repository. That's it. All right, so now we're gonna implement this interface with this method get product async, and now we're gonna include try catch block. So this is my catch block. I'm gonna throw this back once I catch an exception. So where results equal to db context dot products dot find, then I'm sorry, not find, I'm just gonna say to list async I'm going to attach this with a weight. All right. So now I'm going to say return true, then results. So now if you see, we have an error. It says it cannot implicitly convert from db.products to model.product. So now we're gonna now create a mapping between these two. I'm gonna say mapper dot map source would be db dot product and destination would be db dot model dot product. All right, so now this is mapped and I'm gonna return this result list. So that's it. I mean, this is your repository. Now you have to add a controller and call this repository. So I'm gonna add a controller over here. Controller, I'm gonna name this as API controller, and I'm gonna say add. So I'm gonna name this as product controller. Say add, and this controller class is going to inherit from controller base. Now here I'm gonna call this repository. So I'm gonna say product repository repo equals new repository get. Now inside this we're gonna say repo dot get product async. All right, so we see an error over here. So it says you have to pass some arguments over here. Look at this. So now instead of this we're gonna inject our dependency, and in order to do that I'm gonna say private I product and then say prod, and now we're gonna include this in the constructor. So this is our constructor, and I'm gonna inject my dependency in the constructor. I'm gonna assign prod to iProd, iProduct. So now here prod dot get product async. All right. All right, so now we're gonna say var result equals, I'm gonna say await, since we have used async, and now all we have to do is return the result. So now if result is not equal to null, we're gonna say return okay of result, else say return not found, sorry. So I have made few changes in this controller classes. Now if you can see, I have success and products. All right, I'll tell you where this is coming in from. Now if you go to the controller, I'm sorry, the interface, right? Now look at this. So bool success and enumerable of product of type product, and this is products. All right, so now if you go to controller, so I'm going to check if this is success is true, and now we're going to call this function dot get products async, and whatever the resultant is available, now that is going to be assigned to products. We're going to check if it is success, then return okay of products, else return not found in the form of list. So we're going to run this and see. All right, so now I'm gonna navigate to API slash product. They should fetch you the results. So it says not found. Let me check. All right, so now just remove this and all right, so now if I run this, I should be able to get the results. I'm gonna say continue. It's at the debug point. Now look at this. So this is the resultant coming from the microservices. So that means microservice is running fine, right? So this is a short video to show you how microservice can be created, and now this microservices can be consumed by different microservices. Thank you.